So this one's called Fitting In, and given that I was at a conference all about the works and insights of Sid Banks, it starts with a Sid Banks quote. Look for simplicity. Simplicity always holds the key you're looking for, and that key, it opens the door to wisdom. I recently returned from a conference where a talk I heard unlocked in me a deeper understanding of the notion of fitting in that might ease your mind too. The conference was exploring the insights of Sydney Banks, an ordinary man by all accounts. He hailed from Scotland, was a welder by trade, who in the 1970s had a spontaneous, profound awakening to the nature of the human condition. Such was the magnitude of his realisations that 50 years later, practitioners like me are helping others to have an easier experience of life by sharing this simple, powerful understanding any way they can. A bit like we do here each month. The conference speaker's inspirational story related his refusal to be put in a box against the backdrop of a lifetime's feeling like he never really fit in. Black, brought up in the projects of Birmingham, Alabama, reluctant gang member, subsequently a serving military man, his background could not have been more different from mine, and yet I couldn't help but resonate with his outsider story. After a brief flash of guilt, what possible claim could a white middle-class male make to feeling like an outsider? I allowed my thoughts to play over my past anyway, and was surprised to uncover that same feeling of not fitting in. Never part of an in crowd as a youth, not taking the recognised path to higher education, feeling like a misfit at medical school, and never like a proper surgeon because I wasn't willing to sacrifice my outside interests. I left, drifting from one occupation to another, never feeling truly at home in any. Back in the room, I realised that even here, surrounded by my colleagues and friends who shared this same all-encompassing understanding, I still had experienced suspicions of my otherness. I was rubbish at small talk. I didn't share the understanding correctly. I'd never be truly accepted into the community. And I want to pause for a moment there just to really explain the magnitude of that feeling. I deliberately let my thoughts run riot. I'd actively gone there. I'd like, right, hang on a minute. I'm feeling really strongly like I relate to this speaker. So I kind of like checked out of what was going on, and I was like, hang on a minute. I felt this kind of like this sort of weird panic rising in me. I was like, oh my God, yeah, yeah. But when have I felt like an outsider? When have I felt like I've not fit in? And all of those examples, so it was frightening how easily those examples came up. It was frightening. I could remember vividly the a moment when I moved from infant school. No, hang on. When I moved from junior school to senior school, I went to a different senior school from all of my friends. And when I was just sat there at the conference, just letting my mind play over the past, it instantly furnished me with things like remembering the moment, the day when all of my friends told me they couldn't be my friend anymore. because I wasn't going to the same school, which made total sense. No point trying to still be friends with someone when you're not going to spend any time with them whatsoever. And like that feeling of being an outsider was just like there. It was like paper thin. It was right there. Like the whole thought system thing. It's very effective. It's very effective. All that data that's gone in, we think it's like deeply buried, but it didn't take much at all for me sitting there in that conference hall, surrounded by people who share this same understanding of how the mind works, who've seen something around how we all have innate health, and the only thing that we're ever up against is our thinking and misunderstanding. Sitting there, letting my mind play over the past, all of those examples came up really, really easily. And then what really freaked me out was the fact that because I'd been sort of actively entertaining those thoughts of not fitting in, the mind, doing its job, which it's incredibly good at, it even brought it back into the room, and I kind of looked around and I was like, oh my God, like I'm surrounded by loving people. Like I feel so grateful that I found the Three Principles community, found this community of people who've seen something around the way that we experience life and don't really take much seriously and always see through everyone's BS and see through to the real them. If like there was ever a place where I could feel at home, it was there. And yet it really struck me that all of these little examples of how I felt like I didn't fit in to even that, and guys, it was a bit terrifying. I was like, oh my God. So anyway, I'm going to continue. And then, looking around me in a mild, cold sweat, it hit me. We all feel like this, without exception. If we paused proceedings right there and then and asked, who sometimes feels like they don't fit in? Every single hand in that auditorium would have gone up. Because each and every one of us, regardless of background, skin colour, education, religion, position, or prosperity, has moments when we're terrorised by our own thinking. Thought, by its very nature, temporarily creates the impression of separateness, one of the symptoms of which is to feel like we don't fit in. Ironically, beautifully, this very fact unites us all in our shared humanity. At this simple level, none of us is an outsider. We are all exactly the same. This stark realisation dissolved the insecure thoughts I'd been feeling and dropped me straight back into the here and now, with the speaker, my fellow humans, and feelings of oneness, community, and love. All the symptoms of a tranquil mind. So next time you feel like you don't fit in, see that for what it is, a passing thought that has only as much power as you are willing to give it. Why not turn your attention from it and instead allow yourself to experience life just as it is now, where we are all united in our shared divinity, that place we call home. which is the very essence of Sydney Banks's insights that I had come to the conference to explore. With love, Giles.